What's up guys, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about something I got just a few days ago, I've tried and I'm absolutely in love with. That is going to be the Canon 90D. So far this camera, I've had it for maybe about 5 days now and it is just amazing. For the price that you pay, I got the bundle where I got the 18-135 lens and I also got the 50mm lens, the f1.8. And that is just an amazing lens for portraits and night photos. It is just amazing. I still need to go out and get some portraits and night photos. So they should be up once I get them up on one of my Instagram accounts down in the description. But for now, we're going to be talking about the 18-135 with just the Canon 90D body. In my opinion, the autofocus on this camera has just been amazing. I did some bird photography with it, just like a bird that flew past. I snapped a few photos and they turned out pretty good. Obviously, there's a Macca sign in there, a little bit of motion blur and everything, but it did a pretty good job locking onto the moving subject and keeping it in frame, so I was pretty happy with that. So something that this camera does is 10 frames per second shooting continuously. If you're looking through the viewfinder, it'll be 7 frames a second, which in my opinion isn't bad. 10 frames a second is pretty good because I'm not doing any, sports photography or anything like that. If I am doing any motion moving stuff, the autofocus is great and 10 frames a second is enough to get me through it. I did take a few portrait photos and I did a bunch of landscape photography just down at the lake near my house. Just went down, snapped a few photos, and they turned out so much better than my old camera. That was something that I really did expect, but I didn't expect to this extent of how good that they would come out. There is the high frame rate shooting that you can do with this camera that goes up to 100 frames a second. That I wasn't very impressed with. I was really hoping it was going to push to maybe 120, even 240. I was really hoping that I might be able to do. But it came up as saying it can only do 100 frames a second. I'm not sure if you can push it to do maybe 120 or 240. But I know its base default rate is 100 frames a second. Which isn't really bad. It's just I would prefer a higher frame rate in case I want to do some like super type of slow-mo work. Where I really want to like slow it down with some really nice detail in there. But for the shooting speed that it is, the slow-mo is actually pretty decent looking, and I got a few of me just, putting it through grass, seeing how the autofocus would react to different, pieces of grass coming in and out. It did alright. I just feel like I might have shot it too close to the grass where it was just too close where I couldn't focus onto some of the pieces. But that's alright. We're learning with a new camera. Every camera is different to every other camera and this is going to be a big learning curve, especially holding it, and the size of it is already a learning curve. This has got image stabilizer put into the actual lens itself, which is really good because I really like a good image stabilizer. I really do enjoy a stabilizer a lot because it makes you get those more perfect kind of videos and everything that you need to get those videos to the level that you want it to be. I feel like the stabilizer in this lens is it's just amazing compared to what I've had before, the Canon M50, which I'll be doing a video on shortly, and my really old camera, the Canon 440D, I'm pretty sure it is, or the 450D. It's a really old camera. It doesn't do video. It's a full mirrored camera, and it doesn't have a flip LCD. The lens is like really old. I think it's like an 8-year-old camera or something now. And recently in the last, I think it was maybe 12 months, it died completely. So I went and got a $900 Canon M50 just so I could continue doing videos and some type of photography. Before that I was using a GoPro to do videos, and then I upgraded to Canon M50, and then I'm going to be doing the Canon M50 for maybe some BTS work, maybe some behind the scenes and B-roll. And then I'm going to make this my fully fledged vlogging camera, photography camera, everything. If I'm ever doing photography with this, I'll be using that to be recording. Just so I can have two cameras to be recording and doing photography and getting the content that I want to a higher standard. That is my wish and hope that that'll be the plan, and hopefully it'll work out well. The stabilizer is really, really good. And it just keeps the camera super still. It keeps it pretty well still when it's zoomed all the way up to 135 millimeters. The 18 millimeters is really zoomed out. It's pretty good for vlogging. This is a 15 to 45 millimeter on the Canon M50, which I'm using at the moment, which is a really great vlogging lens. But I just feel like 18 millimeters is just kind of a little bit better. But I really wish it was a 15 to 135, because then it just gives me that little bit more zoom kind of range to kind of get that full vlogging experience of you getting everything that's around me, not just this big face in the camera talking to you. So there was another option that you could get with this camera. It was a lens that was 18 to 55, which I don't really understand why people would rather an 18 to 55 over an 18 to 135, because then you get that whole extra range of zoom that you don't get with the other one. And plus, this lens, in my opinion, is a lot better. Plus, you also get the 50 millimeter, which is also great for night shooting because of that beautiful crisp f1.8, which just really brings out the light and everything. I will be doing some night city photography probably within the next few months. I'm planning on it with that beautiful 50 millimeter. Going on to the basis of this body. So you've got the pop-up flash. Obviously you guys saw that in the intro there. It's really simple, same as on my Canon 450D. You just push this button on the side and it pops up. When you're using the auto mode, it'll auto detect if it needs to use the flash, if there's enough light or if there's not enough light. So it'll kind of just go from there. You got your little options wheel here to use it. You just push down the button in the middle and then you turn it to whatever setting you want it to be on. Most of the time I have it on full auto if I'm just kind of walking around, just, you know, quickly shooting some shots, because I don't really need to be using, you know, manual focusing or anything, because the autofocus in this camera is just crystal clear. It is really great. It gets every shot that I want. There were a few times I had to pull out manual mode just to kind of fiddle with it, see how it feels. Then you've got your on and off here. You've got your menu, and then you've got your info, which is pretty standard. I think that's on most of the Canon cameras, they have it there. You've got your flip LCD. Does a complete 180. You can have it however you want whenever you're taking video. Closes up, protects it, really, really nice. Something that I do really appreciate is a really good flip LCD. We've then got, you know, the little bin button, videos. You've got a nice lock here. So if you just want to lock in the settings that you have and don't want to bump anything, you just flick up the lock. The lock is a little bit sticky, but I feel like I just need to kind of wear it in to the point where it is not like that. You've got your you got a little scroll wheel here, just so you can quickly scroll through settings or anything that you need. Then you've got your single up and down buttons, and you got a set. And then here we've got the nice little Q button. That just stands for your quick control button. So if we look here, all it does is just bring up your quick option menu, which just lets you kind of go through, choose the settings that you want, just so you can fine tune all your settings quickly on the go without going through the settings menu there. Coming over to here, this is where you choose between video and photo. So video, it'll change over to a nice smooth video option where the stabilizer in this lens plus the autofocus plus this really great camera body just gets that beautiful 1080p / 4K full frames. We'll get to that in a second. And then you can go to camera, where it's going to be 10 frames a second if you want to shoot continuously. Going onto this button here, this is going to be the autofocus button. So this is where you can click if you want autofocus on or off. And then you got your zoom in and out with extra settings. Going onto the top, this is probably my favorite part of the camera. We're going to have our LCD screen here, which tells you all the settings that you need to know. It's going to tell you the photos and time that you have left on your SD card. Then it's just going to be telling you what frame rate you're shooting in and everything. And it just gives you all these amazing details. Then you have here a little light so you can light the LCD up. Then you've just got your autofocus, you got your speeds, ISO, all that along here. Then you've got your scroll reel here. And then on the other side you have, like I said before, your option changer where you just push down that button in the middle, on and off. And then you just got this little, it's your little metal adapter there if you want to put a microphone or if you want to put a light or anything on top of there that you want. Going onto this lens, this one's going to be super easy because you just got 3 buttons on here and then you got your little, lens button. So on the side here, you've just got your lens button. You push that and then you can turn to take your lens off. I don't want to do that because I feel like every time I do that, I get dust in there. Going on to here, we've got your lock. So when you slide this forward, it is really sticky when you first get it. It locks your camera from changing zoom. Going onto the side here, you can choose whether you want your stability control on or off. I have it on at the moment because I find it to be very helpful and just amazing. And then we've got it if you want your autofocus on or off. This is definitely something that I do really appreciate about this camera, is that a lot of effort went into this camera and I feel like it was just an absolute success that Canon made. And I am really excited to get out there and do some more photography. That's going to be the Canon 90D with the 18-135. I will be talking about the 50mm, the f1.8, probably in a few weeks if I do get around to doing that night photos and the portraits, just so I can kind of give you guys at least some examples instead of just talking about it. So I want to thank all you guys for coming out and looking at this video and checking it out. Please like and subscribe, and if you have any tips, tricks, or anything like that, please put them in the comments below. I'm really happy to learn. Any criticism is welcome. Make sure you guys do like, subscribe, comment, share, all that beautiful good stuff, and I will catch you guys next week.